I want to thank the NCCA for the opportunity to come to their conference, your conference today, and to speak about junior cycle reform. Today I want to congratulate the NCCA on the work that they have done on junior cycle reform. You are truly to be commended. They have been involved in this reform project for many years. Excuse me, I'm just going to have to get some space in this. As I said, they have been involved in this particular project for many years. I want this afternoon to set out my vision for where these reforms are to go and the journey that we are all embarking upon to realise these reforms. As you know, the NCCA published Towards a Framework for Junior Cycle Innovation and Identity in November of last year. Toward a Framework highlighted the need for fundamental changes in our approach to curriculum and assessment. We have to improve the learning experiences of all our students. We know that a significant number of first-year students do not make progress, particularly in English and mathematics. We must remember that difficult transition that is the bridge from small primary schools to large post-primary schools, particularly when you are just turning 13 years of age and all that that entails too. Those who do not have a successful passage into second-level education can find themselves in the departure lounge by the end of second year. And sadly, a significant number of students in second year simply become disengaged with the learning process, or from the learning process. And then in third year, the junior certificate examination dominates the experience of all students. The focus of learning narrows. The emphasis is inevitably on rote learning. And for many students, the exam does not lead to positive learning experiences or indeed outcomes. The annual media coverage of the Junior Cert features an inevitable focus on the high achievers. These are the young people who are bright, talented, and able to succeed in education, and most likely in all walks of life. These are not the people, or the young people, who are failing the PISA tests, which have served as a wake-up call in Irish education in recent years. What does that self-same media hype say to all the young students who really struggled with the Junior Cert and did not do well? The first question that should be asked about major change to the education system is a very simple one. How will this help the bottom half of students in our schools? These are the students who lack the confidence and support which a secure home environment provides. These students simply need our attention, and these students represent half of our future. The same young people who will be most at risk of unemployment, lower standards of living, and limited career opportunities are these young people. I am very conscious, as Minister for Education and Skills, that we owe all our children a duty of care to enable them to succeed in life and in education. The NCCA document Towards a Framework proposed an entirely new approach to the junior cycle against this backdrop. Their approach was developed following an extensive consultation process with parents, students, teachers, school managers, and the wider public. It set out a new vision, values, and principles for the junior cycle. I want to tell you that I fully endorse those principles, fully endorse them. I welcome the fact that the syllabus design for each subject will set out not only the knowledge to be acquired, but also the skills and attitudes that students will develop. The syllabus will be accompanied by detailed examples of how students should be able to demonstrate their learning so that teachers will be supported fully in enabling students to achieve the objectives of the curriculum. I welcome the aspects of the proposed curriculum that will allow schools something that they currently do not have. It will allow schools the flexibility to design their own junior cycle programme. This will empower schools to meet the interests and the needs, and indeed the curiosity of their students. This is how we can accommodate difference in our society. This is how we begin to address the question of inequality in our society. I'm also happy to accept the recommendations in relation to short courses and in particular priority learning units for students with special education needs. I'm convinced that all the elements of the framework proposed by the NCA represent a huge development for second-level education in this country. I wish wholeheartedly once again to thank the NCCA for the extraordinary amount of work that has been done over quite a number of years. Thank you sincerely. Reading the document, it's very clear to me that how our students actually learn was at the very concern, at the heart of the vision for reform. They recognise, the NCCA, a need to liberate teaching from the strictures of an examination at lower secondary level that bore all the hallmarks of a high-stakes examination. The Junior Cert is no longer, in reality, a high-stakes exam. That is why it no longer serves the educational needs of every young person. The NCCA have now provided a framework which addresses this issue. It also sought to improve the experiences of our students, and that is why I welcome the NCCA proposals. They set out a clear direction for all of us to follow. But I want to go further. In recent months, officials from the executive of the NCCA and the State Examinations Commission have worked closely with officials in the department. They have developed assessment arrangements that will achieve the changes in student learning which we all want to see. And I'm particularly glad to have this opportunity to thank the chairpersons of the NCCA and the State's Examination Commission, Bridget McManus and Dick Langford, for the extraordinary contribution of both themselves and their staff in this difficult process. I also want to acknowledge the extraordinarily creative work of the senior officials in the department as well. Ladies and gentlemen, today I publish my considered response to the NCCA document and the department's blueprint for a new junior cycle experience for all of our young people. Real change only happens when there is real change in assessment. That is what all the international evidence has been telling us. The influence of assessment on how teachers and students engage with curriculum and learning is well documented, not just here in Ireland, but right across the world. The learning experience, it tells us, is narrowed if an assessment system is restricted to measuring students through external examinations and testing. When the experience is narrowed, both students and teachers focus on learning what is necessary to do well in final examinations. They simply stop pursuing an educational programme that is designed to meet students' needs. That is why the best performing educational systems have removed high-stake external assessment of students in traditional examinations. That is why they have placed assessment of learning at the lower secondary level in the hands of schools and teachers and students themselves. And this is why we need, here in Ireland, to reform radically the way we assess students' learning at junior cycle. I want the junior cycle to place the needs of our students at the core of what we all do. I want to improve the quality of their learning experiences and outcomes. And I also want to liberate our teachers from narrow exam-based programs. I want them to become what they wish to be, good teachers. And I want them to fulfill their potential as leaders of education learning. Let me talk now to the parents of Ireland. The new cycle provides a framework within which your children can express the fullest range of their abilities and see them developed to the fullest possibilities. It provides opportunity for growth and for broader experience of education. It will It will include, yes, all their talents and skills. And it provides real information for you as parents on progress and ways of improvement for your children as young students. Such an approach could enable all students to achieve their full potential, to be properly challenged in their learning, thereby raising educational standards. As a parent and as a citizen, I believe that our children deserve nothing less. To achieve this, we must ensure that assessment becomes a key part of teaching and learning across the 3 years of junior cycle and provides high-quality feedback to students and, yes, indeed, to parents as well. The opportunities for such approaches to assessment are no longer stressful where assessment is not high stakes. The focus of assessment will now be on supporting learning. Over the next 8 years, I am therefore going to phase out the traditional junior certificate examination. We're going to phase it out. Students, rather than subject examinations, will be at the centre of the new approach to assessment. Now I hear you say, what exactly will this new form of assessment look like? The junior certificate examination will be replaced with a school-based model of assessment. This will embed assessment both for and of learning in the classroom, and it will involve schools and teachers in ongoing assessment of students' progress and achievement. Clear and unambiguous guidance for teachers on standards will be provided in each syllabus. This will guide the assessment of student progress. It will enable teachers to chart the next steps for each student's learning. Assessment at the end of the junior cycle will be completed by the school. Assessment will be based on evidence of learning coming from schoolwork and a final written assessment. The schoolwork component will be based on work completed by the student during second and third year and will be marked by the teacher in the school using a marking guide included in the specification for the subject. Generally, it will be worth about 40% of the marks awarded to the student. The kinds of work involved will include assignments, projects, case studies, performances with regard to languages, oral activities, written pieces, and tests of different kinds. Schools may use developments such as e-portfolios to enhance the changes that this schoolwork component can provide. To support this, I have already convened an education and industry group to advise on how ICT can be used to enhance the junior cycle experience at school level. The final assessment component will be a single written paper or assignment, and that will represent 60% of the marks. In the first few years of implementation, the papers will be set by the State Examinations Commission, but administered and, for the most part, corrected by teachers as part of their assessment of students. In the case of English, Irish and mathematics, the papers will also be corrected by the SEC for an introductory transition period. Schools will continue to use materials provided by the State Examinations Commission. The primary purpose of the certification at the end of junior cycle will be to support learning over the 3 years. We simply have to move beyond examinations to a process of generating evidence of learning and of sharing feedback. This will help schools, teachers and students to successfully plan their next steps. In some instances, sharing assessment outcomes with an audience beyond the teacher and the student will bring the best of international practice right into the heart of Irish schools. The new school certificate will also build on the professional commitment of our high-quality teaching force to work in the best interests of their students. Ladies and gentlemen, the work on these reforms begins now. This is not a cost-saving exercise. Rather, it is about ensuring that we do better. I will secure the resources necessary to bring this vision to fruition. I will ensure, as Minister for Education and Skills, that schools, their principals and teachers will be provided with the necessary professional support to enable them to implement comfortably and comprehensively the framework. This support will be introduced on a phased basis from 2013-2014, in other words, September 2014 and onwards. The NCCA will begin to develop curriculum, standards and supports immediately. The State Examinations Commission will begin planning for its phased withdrawal from junior cycle examinations. While today I lay out the main features of junior cycle reform, I want to say very sincerely that I welcome input on how we can together make it happen for all of the stakeholders. A junior cycle consultative group convened by the department will provide a forum where such suggestions can be tabled and constructively discussed. This forum is the place where the plan will be refined, and like all plans, it needs to be refined. I want now, before I finish, to say a word about our teachers at second level. I believe this framework is predicated on their strengths. Their tradition of commitment to their students is second to none. It is a signal of our confidence in their professionalism and commitment to change. I want to continue to attract our best graduates into teaching. I know that this framework will be embraced by them because it requires not that they do more, but that they do things better in a way that enables them to provide a much better junior cycle experience and to really enhance learning for all our young people. I know for many of you who are professional educationalists in this hall that this has been a long journey. I know that on more than 2 or 3 occasions in the past, after it is recognised that the junior certificate had become a junior leaving cert in many ways, that there was a desire to change it back to what it originally was supposed to do. And I know that many of you have been frustrated in the way in which best hopes were dashed in the past. They're not dashed now. And I want to say as a politician to you that this is an intensely political project, but I want to assure you that it is not an electoral project. This project will take 8 years. We will have 2 elections and many ups and downs in the world of politics during that time. This is about real change for real citizens in our real schools. I'm happy to launch this ship, proud to launch it. You are the crew, along with all the others, who will navigate the long journey over 8 years to arrive at the shore of a better kind of junior cycle education. We're going to have to change tack on occasions. We're going to meet some storms that we can't anticipate. But we now know where we're going. And I can assure you, in launching this project, I have every confidence that it will reach its destination. Thank you very much.